Hello and welcome. So in this video we are going to create a fast API. So it is like a Python backend server. The framework that we are going to use is a fast API. And what we will do, we are going to create some APIs like how the data communicates from the backend front end to backend through the APIs. So what we are going to see in this playlist, we are going to see everything related to the fast API like installation, writing your first get request and fetching data from the database, putting data into the database and updating the data as well. So this is the first video, and I'm going to install the fast API and I'm going to run the first API that we are going to write, that is the fetch method in the fast API, how we can get the data. And in the further video we are going to see like database connectivity, how to send the query parameters, how to send the URL parameters with the URLs, and everything related to the fast API, real-time communication using WebSocket, everything related to fast API. So let's get into it. So I'm going to create to I'm just going to I just create one folder called YT in my desktop, and I'm already into the virtual environment. If you don't know how to create the virtual environment, so I will paste a link of a video where you can get how can create a virtual environment for your projects. What is a virtual environment? A virtual environment is nothing but it will keep all the dependencies for your current project. So suppose you're working into a multiple projects for your multiple clients. So what you can do, you can create a different virtual environments with a different Python version as per your requirement, and you can put all the dependency into the unique virtual environment that will be created. Okay, so yeah, not wasting any time, just get it started. So first you have to do, you have to install the fast API. So what will be the command, like a pip install and the fast inside the course you can simply type fast API and pass all like this. So what it will do, it will install all the dependencies that you will need to run your fast API backend server. Okay, so you can see like I'm collecting all the packages from the repositories, and you can see like I have successfully installed the fast API. So if you are installing these things into your Windows machine, so for the Windows machine these UV loop library will not come because this is not supported in Windows machine. So no worry, everything will be good in that case. Now we successfully install the fast API. Now we have to install one worker to running this fast API. So for that we can go for the UVcorn. So generally UVcorn is a server that we use for running the fast API thing. So just install it, pip install UVcorn, and where we go with the standard thing, standard. Okay, something went wrong, I guess. It should be in a course, I guess. Should be in a course. Oh, what went wrong over there? Okay, so yes, I'm UVcorn, UVIs. UVcorn, not UVcron. Okay, not will be installed. Yeah, you can see I already have this thing, in my machine. Okay, so okay, we are good. Let's go into the code base. So you can use any code editor that you want. I prefer VS Code for myself, so I will open this folder into the VS Code. So for opening this into the VS Code, if you're using the Linux machine, you can simply type code space and dot. It will open the current folder into the VS Code. So you can see I have into my VS Code, and you can see like this is the virtual environment having all the dependencies. So what we need to do, we have to create the first application. You can see the main file that will contain like our fast API server. So let's get into it. So how can we do that? Just simply click on this icon for creating the main file, and it will like, you can name anything. I'm just going with the main name. So main.py. Okay, so this is the main file that will keep our fast API server. Now what we need to do next, so we have to import something and create our application. Okay, so first thing what you need to do, you have to import thing from FastAPI and import FastAPI. So if you have installed Python extension in your machine, so these things will auto populate. If you don't, just go to the extension and type the Python over there and install the first one that you got. You can see I already installed it, so I'm not going to install it again. Let's come to the code again. Okay, so what thing you need to do next thing what you need to do, you have to create a one you have to take this FastAPI instance and assign to a variable. What you can do like this, FastAPI. So this is just like an app is for our current application, and we are going to run this app on a particular port that you wanted. If you want to give any name related to your project, so what you can do, you can pass the name of your project, anything that you want, like a title, description, or the version of your project. So how you can do that, you can simply go into this brackets and just type title over there, title of your project, like this is a FastAPI project, FastAPI, FastAPI's CRUD. Okay, so this will be like a title and description. You can pass any description that you wanted. Description having request methods. You can pass anything that you wanted. Comma should be here, and version of your application, go with the 1.0.0. so this will be the version. You can pass any version that you want. Okay, so now yeah, so we are good, and our application basically FastAPI instance has been created, and now we need to run this instance on a particular endpoint. So how we can do that? So at the moment, actually you don't need to do anything. Like in Django we pass the port number and everything, but in a FastAPI you don't need to do that. You can simply write your first GET request over there. So this thing only require for creating a backend server. Suppose you want to create a first request over there, suppose, and we have something called app.get in FastAPI. You can also use router.get over there. So if you want to use like a router.get, so we have two things in a FastAPI, app.get and router.get. We can use anything that we wanted. Okay, so let's go with the app.get. Suppose this is a home page of an application, and if a person target this endpoint, so they will get the home page. Okay, and we can also use async await thing in a FastAPI, so that's a good thing. All the functions we can create as a asynchronous. So what will be the advantage over there? So the processes will not block for you, and it's like the multiple requests can be done in a single time frame. So that's the use of this async over there. You can also use like a normal function, but a better practice, you should use async functions over there with the APIs. Okay, so I just create a one root function over there. You can pass any name that you wanted. Suppose I'm just like home page. So this is a decorator, and that is the advantage of decorator. So decorator is the function that changes the functionality of a function without changing its structure. So you can, as you can, this is a normal function, but like as we add this decorator with that, so it will be work as a router for this particular function. Okay, so let's take a response. Suppose we have a response key, and this is home page. Okay, at the moment I save it, Control S for saving it. And now our first get method has been done. So let's try to run this. Okay, if you want to run this, so what you need to do, you have to simply run your application. So for running application, we have something called ubicon. How you run your FastAPI application? We have ubicon main, and we are going to target the app. Main is basically the file name, app is basically the instance that you created, and reload. So you can see like our application startup has been completed, and the application is serving on this particular port. Let's copy this thing and open into the browser that you want. Okay, so in incognito window, I'm going to open this, and you can see like detail not found. Why we are getting the detail not found? Because our endpoint is slash home page. Okay, so if I target the slash home page, it should be return the function, return the return of the particular function. You can see like this is the home page. If I zoom in a little bit, you can see this is the home page. So that is the same thing that we're returning from the function. So you can see like how easy we can create the endpoints and APIs in a fast API with the Python. So the best thing regarding the fast API is that it comes with its documentation as well. So suppose you are serving your application on 8000 port and you want to see the beautiful thing regarding your API. So you can simply use the docs thing over there, and at the moment you type slash docs, you can see like you have beautiful all the documentation of your API is automatically written. So you can see like slash home page. If I click on there and if I click on try it out, execute it, I will see the response. You can see this is a response and this is a status code. Okay, how you can send a status code for your API. Let's take an example. Suppose with this function you want to send the status code along with your response. How can you do that? Okay, so for that we have something called, we have to import some modules over there. So what will be the modules over there? So how can we do that? Simply we have to import something called from FastAPI responses, FastAPI responses import or JSON response. So instead of just a return, we can simply pass our JSON response, and our JSON response will take two parameters. First is the result. It should be a dictionary. So this is it's not, it should be in a course actually. This is test message. And second thing, what it take the status code over there. So how can we pass the status code? Just a normal status code you want to. Suppose I want to pass 201 as a status code, so just try it. Generally we should not pass 201 for the get request, it is for creating thing, but let's try it. Okay, whether we got that status or not. Execute. You can see I got the 201 status code, but if we're not passing, you can also pass 200 status code, anything that you wanted. Where it is, here it is. Okay, let me close it. You can see 200 as okay. So one more better practice over there, we should not write APIs like this. We every time we need to handle this situation, so we have something called exception handling in a Python. Basically exception handling in any language like a Java, Python, JavaScript, not in a Golang. So for Golang we have something called error. We don't have any exception handling in a Golang. We can use by using error things over there. Error is not nil and so on. So how can we do the exception handling with the fast API as well? Simply use the try block over there and simply returning the thing that you wanted, and we have except over there, set exception as error, and you can simply return error over there. If something went wrong, simply it should be inside a message like this, and for error the status code will be what it should be like 400. Okay, so yeah, this is the for formatting the code. You can simply use this thing. That's something wrong. Okay, so yeah, this is the exception handling. So if anything wrong with this code block, the control will go here. Okay, so that's how you can write your first API and see the working over there. So yeah, all about this video is this. So if you have any doubt, please put your comments over there. and and yeah, in this next video we're going to see like other requests, database connectivity, how can we use the logging things in the fast API. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much.